Oh, there's Nick, but he's right here. That's kind of weird. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the optimal sort stuff. If I think a lot of you participated in it, so okay. Yeah, what is that noise? Oh, it's a stupid projector. It's super noisy.
Gross.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. And can you guys see? I'm going to turn the lights off so you guys can see my screen in the front. Darren, when you're done, can you just click over on my window so they can, oh, it's okay. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, somehow you missed this. Over at SWIC, they have a web design class, and they're working on a website for First United Presbyterian Church. Did you happen to look at that? Let me show you guys the site, and you'll get a sense of what they're dealing with. I don't remember the URL. First United Presbyterian Church. I think it's in Belleville. Yeah, here we go. So I didn't go through and take the time to diagram the site architecture as it is, which is what your, the first step in your project is. But you can see, come on. Oh, did the site go down?
No.
They must have taken the site down. I don't know. It's not coming up right now anymore. Well, anyway, it was a mess. The architecture was a mess. I should have diagrammed it before they took it down. So let's see the results. So I came up with 25 questions. If you haven't done your sort yet, what you want to do, and I went back and refreshed my memory and watched the lynda.com video. It's very straightforward. The whole idea of card sort came from, they actually put, the traditional way of doing a card sort is to actually write the questions on index cards, and then you sit down face to face with someone and you tell them to sort them out. Rules of the sort are to ask people to sort things that are kind of on the same hierarchy. Like one of the things you don't want to do, I don't know if you remember this from the lynda.com video, is to like take all orchids and then a specific type of orchids in flower arrangements. Like intuitively, those kind of sit at different hierarchical levels. So you want to pick 25 things that are kind of information all about at the same level. So I did my best to come up with 25 things that people might be looking for on this site. So let me see, and I don't know this all that well, this software, so I'm kind of playing with it a little bit too. So let's look at this is my First United Pres. I want to show you my questions first. Here are my cards. Mentor services, do you offer Sunday school? Where are you located? Are there mission trips I can get involved with? Does the church sponsor sports teams? Blah, 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 blah. The minister. Where can I get a copy of last week's sermon? And some of these questions came from just looking at the site and seeing some of the information they already had on there. And then as a result, I didn't set up categories because this is an open sort, meaning that I'm asking the participants to come up with category names. So let's look at some of the results. And if you take a look at the lynda.com video, they actually specifically talk about optimal sort. And he goes through what all of these different results tabs mean. So I don't really care how much time. Let's look at the analysis. And a lot of these reports can be downloaded. So if for your own presentation, for your own, ultimately you're going to end up with a PDF, right, that you turn in. So for your own results, you may want to download it in Excel and then visualize it in different ways to go into your final presentation. So, so you can see each of the cards. Most of them, you can see how people categorized these different ones. So are there Bible study groups? People put them in services, church, general information, groups. These are the different about, somewhat ambiguous, but you can kind of see the categories that people came up with. This is one thing, the standardization grid. I started to standardize some things. So for example, church info and services and church service resources, kind of similar. So what you can do is you can select the two categories and then you can say standardize. Do these all feel like they could go under church services? How can I become a member of the church? Yeah, so let's standardize this category and let's just call this church services. So now that becomes one category. Contact, I probably have something about church services dash church. That seems to go with church services. So let's standardize this as well. So we'll say standardize. All right. And then you can start to see how people are putting, like, where do you offer Sunday school? That's now, I haven't standardized everything yet, but as I keep going through this process, this display is going to be made, and I can see that, do you offer Sunday school? People would look under it, under church services and under kids. So maybe kids is going to be a subcategory of church services. I don't really know, because I haven't standardized all of my cards and figured out where all of these things are going to lie. But now I'm seeing opportunities. It seems like job opportunities goes under opportunities pretty clearly. But then again, I haven't standardized all of my categories yet, so I'm not looking at my full result set yet. Now, obviously, if I have more people participate, then I'm going to have better statistics, right? I mean, if I had 30 people respond and do my card sort, then I'd have bigger numbers, and you'd start to see, it's not enough statistics wise to really compel me to think that it's like that's the way it is. Unfortunately, with optimal sort for the free account, we can only use 15. And for the purpose of this class, you would probably kill me if I told you you had to get 30 people to participate.
I couldn't even get it. I got 7.
I'll participate.
I'm at IKEA and I'm like, oh, how you doing? Do you want to mess up with these cards and stuff? But
you actually did the cards.
So, some people were not happy that I took the time, but whatever. It was.
Yeah, you need to bring it to class.
Yeah,
But that's good, because what you're doing is you're actually you're finding representative users. The people at IKEA are the real people.
That's why I wanted to use the people that shop there.
Right.
Just like asking
right. Exactly. And that's a good point I never even talked about, is that, and I hope that came up in the reading, but finding representative users makes sense, because you want to know how okay. So as we go on there, then I keep going through the standardization grid. These other similarity matrices. So this is explained on lynda.com, and basically what they're saying is, are there job opportunities, and now how does this work again? And are there job opportunities and volunteer opportunities? There's a high similarity between these two right here. Does that make sense? Because it's 100% similarity. So that's telling us those probably go in the same category, job and volunteer opportunities. Again, this is going to become more clear as I do more standardization. So the similarity, like there's a 100 score right here. Contacting the minister and contacting the church secretary. It's finding that these kinds of questions would be answered under a similar category. So the higher number between the two categories, but like, are there church music groups, and what makes church different from other Presbyterian church? There's a 0 similarity matrix there. So that's telling me these don't belong in the same category at all. So where they intersect in this matrix is telling me the relationship between those questions. Okay, so that's how we can start to analyze where to put things. I mean, what I'm hoping you're seeing out of this is that when you develop a website, you know, coming up with categories and subcategories is not just all willy-nilly, you know, there's, it would say,
Willy-nilly.
yeah, I mean, you should, if you want to make your site usable, you should be thinking about, you know, how other people think. And this is a tool that tells you how other people think. So do you guys have any questions about this? You good? I wonder if anybody's online here. Did anybody join the call? Ah, there's Brian. Hi, Brian. So after you finish that and you develop, I'm going to stop screen sharing. You develop your revised architecture. Then what you're going to want to do is test it. And the way that you test it is using a reverse sort, which is basically going back to users and making sure that they put, ooh, that's trippy. They put,
It's funny how they're answering too.
I know. Look, ooh. Oh, fun. They put, you're testing your categorization. So optimal sort also supports the reverse sort process. So I can go over that next week as everybody gets a little closer. I don't even know what the deadlines of this project are.
It's due this Friday.
Oh, crap. Okay, so we definitely need a little bit more time on this because I don't think anybody...
I did my first sort and I have the data, but that's all I got. So I haven't done the first sort.
Right, right.
Well, can you go into like the reverse sort? Like what is it?
What exactly is it? So once you, I have to refresh my memory in terms of how it works in Optimal Workshop. I didn't watch that part last night, but the theoretical part of it, and you know what, maybe I'll go over that on Friday and then give you guys a little bit more time because I need to refresh my memory. I only watched the first part, but because I don't know the tools in here, but the general gist of it is you're testing your information architecture. So you go back to those questions and you give someone the categories and you make sure that those questions, they put them in the right categories. So if you look at what I can show you here.
So we need participants for that too?
Yes.
Do they have to be the same participants or should they be different?
I don't think it really matters. Let's see. Let me show you a student project just to refresh your memory, and we'll look at how they did it. Assignments. Okay. Okay. When you're doing your information architecture, don't just do it in a vacuum based on what you found out in the card sort. You also did this user analysis too. So, oh, let me share my screen. Sorry.
Okay, if you flipped the way your feed was showing from real life, you could high five yourself.
Cool tricks with Google Hangout. Okay. Let me get back to Olivia's so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay. Here is her architecture. And here is this, you can see where this came from now after you saw my analysis. So this is her list of questions here. And the dark blue shows high correlation. So wherever you have darker colors shows where a lot of people picked that particular category. And this is so this is her new architecture, and these are her questions. And so she gave 10 people the question, where is the museum located? 10 people, 10 out of 10 knew exactly to go to hours and info. We're able to find it based on that categorization. So
this is a reverse sort.
This is the results of her reverse sort. And actually hers looks really, really good. You mean there's a lot of 10 out of 10s where all 10 users have picked the right category. There's some 9s here and here, but for 7s and 8s. But for the most part, that's pretty good correlation. Now, ideally, this is iterative. So you want to, if you found that your reverse sort is saying that people still aren't finding what you're looking for, then you might make more revisions and then test it again, but I'm only asking you to do it once. So this is your results of your reverse sort. And I know on optimal sort, there's a way to do the reverse sort. And I can't remember what it is. I have to go back and refresh my memory. So you can either look at lynda.com or I'll do a refresher on Friday if people still need it. And then I'm asking you to do a little bit of an analysis. One thing about Olivia that here in her thing is that she's referring to this, she's writing all in the first person, which anytime you're doing some kind of an analysis on someone else's site or anything else, you don't want to write in the first person because then it seems very personal. Like, I feel that I wouldn't recommend and I this, and then it becomes one person's opinion as opposed to the expert who's saying, we found strong correlation between blah, 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 blah. So it seems more, it sounds, there's more basis for what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? If I say, well, I think that I would suggest and I would, you know, as opposed to 10 out of 10 people categorized under this. So, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, if you ignore the sentence at the end where she says, I'm happy about the changes, blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it seems like she's just using the first person as just to say what she did.
Exactly.
Not necessarily what her opinions about it are.
Exactly. So, but I mean, this sentence right here, I renamed the education tab in the middle menu bar. Let me make this bigger so we can see. The participants of the card sort created the category name when they grouped the contents together. So a new education tab was created because underneath programs because participants of the card sort created a category name when they grouped the contents together. It's just not writing in the first person. Okay. You know what I mean? But you're right. This is more of an opinion statement as opposed to, but when it becomes very personal, let's say I'm paying Olivia to do this work. Mm-hmm. So I paid for the Olivia opinion. Well, I mean, you know what I mean? I would like the expert opinion. So explain why things were done. You know what I mean? So just be wary of that as you're writing this up. So do you guys want to take a look at projects? You feel good about what's going on here?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay. Darren, since you're up there already, let's go over to you. I will stop sharing.